Hi, this is Dr. Liz Robison. I am going to share with you today, in preparation for the fall semester, something that may help you as well as your students out. And this is targeted to those first time learners, fundamental students, but it can be used pretty much for anybody. This was built with students in mind as well as faculty, but this harnesses the power of generative AI, specifically ChatGPT, with the GPT apps that you can create. If you have a Plus account or more, you can create your own GPT apps. Now, I have created GPT apps and made them available in the store, and you can kind of search here for the different GPT apps that are available in the store for anybody to use. Mine are listed under Dr. Liz, and I am in the process now. I have several, and I'm in the process now of updating those apps with GPT-5 model in mind. The instructions were built for the now legacy models, and so I'm importing some good instructions that will take advantage of the GPT-5 model. I targeted on the fundamental ones to work on those first and update them. So we're going to be seeing the fundamentals, Nursing Fundamentals Creator Assistant GPT app. This one here is Dosage and Calculation Practice. And then the final one is Nursing Skills Creator Assistance. This can also be used within LVN or LPN programs to assist as well, since it's fundamental content. And I'm sourcing the information that is used readily, minus a few additional sources in the dosage and calculation one, sourcing information directly from the OpenRN textbooks. And that's a program out of Wisconsin, the Open Educational Resources. And these are textbooks that are available, open access online. You can download them and you can reference them. And they provide a good knowledge base within the GPT platform. What's nice about creating an app, when you give it a knowledge base, you are then making the information or your output more reliable, because it's pulling first from that knowledge base that it has structured within that app to create the output, and will only reach into the web if the creator has instructed it so, to fill the gaps. And that's kind of how I build the apps for the nursing education community. These you'll see will say nursing student on it, and I do have separate ones for the most part. These are all available in the store right now. It doesn't cost you, they just call it the GPT Store. These are built with students in mind, and the primarily difference here has to do with the output when you ask it questions. So for an educator, obviously we don't necessarily need to respond to the questions, and so I have changed the instructions and made a special one for educators that makes it faster for them to generate questions and get rationale to support those questions much quicker than I want it to be for student. So please, hopefully you'll share these with your learners. And I think that's important in nursing education. As we become more comfortable with generative AI, we know our learners out there are using it. Give them reliable resources to use it, and incorporate it within your active programs, as well as in clinical with your adjuncts, because as you know, GPT is available in the mobile app store, and you can do the same thing on your phone that you're doing here with the PC. So it has that versatility to be able to be used in a mobile app as well. So the way this works here is I could click one of these areas here and have it generate a question. Now I've set the fundamental content to only build questions from the Bloom's taxonomy of knowing, understanding, and applying. because the aspect of our learners when we are doing testing blueprints, we rarely get into the higher order of blooms initially with our learners. So it doesn't mean you can't ask a question at a higher level. You will just have to direct that within that prompt, saying you want a question at the evaluation level for it in terms of blooms, because the instructions only have the first 3 tiers of blooms as guidance for building question output. And you can see you can do summaries, outlines. You can even ask it to do case studies. You can ask it to do handouts, visuals. It just has a lot of versatility. It's because it's taking advantage of the platform that houses the GPT, which is ChatGPT. So everybody by now should have access to GPT-5. I received that about 2 days ago. Actually, no, it was yesterday I received it, because I didn't receive it on the day that it rolled out on the 7th. I received it on the 8th of August as a Plus user, but so it may still be rolling out to some free users. So let's just kind of go over these a little bit here, and I'll tell you how you could potentially use these and give these to your students. You can always reach out to me if you want the educator version of it, and I'll be glad to share that with you. I'm in the process of updating those, so I won't share those until I have all those updated to support the GPT-5 model. So let's say here I just want to create a question on, create a question on the nursing process at the application level. Now, some of our learners don't know about blooms. They should. You should share with them about Bloom's taxonomy, especially how you are doing your blueprinting, and allow them to understand that. And this space here is very limited on what I can include in here to let the user know, if they want a specific level of blooms, put that in your prompt. You can see here another nice thing about GPTs is that you have very little prompting that's necessary, because all the prompting or instructions are embedded within this instruction, so it works well with very little prompting. And that's important because, quality in is quality out. And because I've built that infrastructure within the instruction, it doesn't require a robust prompting to get a robust output. So you can see a very simple prompt here. I'm going to just ask it for one question. You can ask it for as many as you want. Now with the student version, you'll see here, it will not give you the response. It will remind the students that they have to respond before it will give you the correct response. And that's the biggest difference between the educator one and the student one. You can see very quick, and it will tell you where it's pulling that information from when you get your response. It will tell you here that it's an application level question, and the choices are in the gray box. It's one of the biggest changes with a GPT-5, which allows you, if you wanted to copy these choices here and put them in some other, either a Kahoot or some other kind of setting where you're inputting choices and doing some sort of interactive activity here. I've done this before, and I'll just kind of cherry pick it and not even read the question, but you can read the question here. I want you to see really how it focuses its response. So I'm just going to put C down here and see if I answered it correctly, and it's not correct. So you can see here it gives a rationale for the incorrect response and a rationale for the correct response, and then it gives you the location where you can find that in the Open Educational, OpenRN Fundamentals text. It's in chapters 4.7 and 4.9 in terms of where you can find specific information about that. And then it prompts you, do I want more questions? And I'm going to say no, but would like more situations that show implementation of the implementation step of the nursing process. And I'm going to quantify that. I would like two situations that show the implementation step of the nursing process. So I'm going to, again, your learners can use this very differently, but you could see here, if I was unsure about what that meant in terms of in the nursing process, in terms of implementation, now it's giving me some additional information regarding that process. It then prompts me, would I also like matching examples for the assessment portion of the nursing process and the evaluation portion of the nursing process? And I'll just put yes. You see, very simple prompt. You have to put a lot into it. This is your reliable assistant. You can be very curt. You don't have to necessarily be polite. Some people do like to be polite and say yes, please. But you can see here it's now giving you some of that information as well in terms of those additional examples. And I could say here, can you add so just to add additional step here within the nursing process. And now you have some examples that kind of go into that activity to really make it more relatable to the learner. What does that mean in terms of the different steps within the nursing process? I then can say, can you give me a detailed but short handout on the nursing process for class? And so I'm asking it now to create something that becomes, something that I can really either provide to the learners, or they can provide, they can have it themselves as well. I'm not going to ask it for a color-coded one-page PDF chart because it does take a while for it to provide that information in terms of a chart. I'll bring up one that I had worked on here before. Let me see in my library here. Here we go. And so here's what it provided with us. Very similar kind of request here that, and it does take a while for it to build that particular prompt here. So I'm going to bring that up so you can kind of see that. And that's a pretty great handout for a student that may want to have that available, and it can be downloaded and can be placed in their images and that they can reference as they are learning about the nursing process. So again, very versatile information. Let's take a look at the one for dosage and calculation here. And I'm going to just hit one of the boxes here. I'm going to put, these all are what they refer to as conversation starters. And sometimes, to see what the output will look like, you may want to have a conversation starter and click on that and then further develop different prompts from that conversation starter. So we'll look here on a volume here. So this is a conversation starter, and you can see here it gives you that calculation that should be used, that standard formula that would be used with this type of situation in terms of medication administration, and giving you an example here for you to do. And then it says you want to create a practice set of realistic liquid medication calculation so we can apply this formula. And I'll say yes. create one question. Again, very simple prompts here. And now it's going to ask you to verify, to put your answer in here so it can verify your answer. And I also like the safety tips that come out in the output. Again, always double checking the strength on the medication label and ensuring the units match before calculating. So it's bringing in some of those safety guidelines that we want to incorporate in everything we do on medication administration. So here the order is to give 75 milligrams. What's available is 150 milligrams. Obviously, I'm going to do that in my head here, and I'm going to give a very quick response here. And so it then provides that correct information here, but it also provides some information, common pitfalls that can occur with these types of medications. So again, giving the students some additional information. I know all programs have some other resources that they use for dosage and calculation, but this is what I call an opportunity for students to practice with information that's reliable, because it's pulling it from reliable resources, and it is credible, but it's also them using AI, generative AI, ethically, because you're having them engage with the product not in replacement but as a learning opportunity. So let's do this last one here, which is the skills creator. And so you can do the same things. These are basic skills like you would have in a skills book. That's what this OpenRN Nursing Skills 2nd edition textbook is like. Again, because this is open access here, you can easily download the book yourself and take a look at what is available in terms of content. These are peer-reviewed resources and has been out for a while in the state of Wisconsin, received a huge grant to make this available for their state, and really making textbooks less of a cost for their learners, but still a great resource within their learning programs. So I'm going to just do a basic fundamentals, walk me through an outline on taking vital signs to include BP, heart rate, respiratory rate. I'm going to abbreviate and we'll see what it does. If it picks, it should pick up those abbreviations. Temp and O2 sat. Okay. So here, giving me a and then it spells out, I gave it an abbreviation, but it spells out what those abbreviations are and gives me a simple outline that covers the different aspects of the vital sign information with some parameters for ranges, oxygen saturation as well, some information. And when you ask for these kind of questions, I have asked it to link to the OpenRN site. It says skills, but it really is going to the main site because it's too difficult to link the actual textbook information. And here's where you go into the textbooks and you can see where here's the textbook detail here in terms of the book details, and you can view this textbook, gives you the book details and still the learning objectives. And like I said, you then have the ability, if you want to download this textbook from this site as well. They have partnered with a company because some students and faculty still like hard copies, and you can purchase a print copy of that as well. So this is just a great resource. You can reference this if you want to make different questions. You're not too sure what this entails. There's a separate book for advanced skills. So this is just the nursing skills piece of it. And I'm going to share you the QR codes as well as the URL. If you want to connect to those GPT apps, these are the ones that I currently have updated to the GPT-5 model. And here's the QR code as well as the URL. And you're welcome to use them freely and share them with other faculty. I really hope you do share them with students. This is not something to keep from students. This is intended to help students be a partner in their education and allow them to have resources that allow them to learn with the different ways that they need to learn to be successful in your program. Thank you.